Picture this for a second. You walk into your hotel lobby. It's the absolute peak of the season. Your reception desk is just buzzing with arriving guests, the parking lot is totally jam-packed, and that glowing no vacancy sign is shining bright out front. If you're an independent hotel owner or general manager, this is it, right? This is the exact scenario you work so tirelessly for. It looks like the ultimate picture of success. But what if I told you that in this very moment of total apparent triumph, you are actually leaving massive amounts of money on the table? Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to dive really deep into the hidden profit drains inside hotel revenue management. We're going to uncover the counterintuitive truths that are quietly keeping independent and boutique properties from hitting their actual financial potential. Consider this really harsh reality for a moment. Your hotel is full tonight. Every single room. And you are still losing money. I know. It sounds completely crazy. It actually defies every basic instinct we have about the hospitality business. But look, over 15 years of observing hotel revenue management across Southeast Asia, the hard data shows that this happens hundreds of times, night after night after night. Our whole goal today is to show you exactly why a fully booked hotel can actually be a financially sinking ship, and way more importantly, what you can do to fix it. If you've ever had that nagging feeling that your bottom line just doesn't quite match the sheer volume of guests walking through your front doors, you're definitely going to want to pay close attention. Because by the end of this explainer, I promise you, you will never look at an occupancy report the exact same way again. All right, let's just dive right into this, because this is something the hotel industry almost never talks about out loud. 100% occupancy? It is not the goal. Actually, scratch that, it's usually a warning sign. When every single room is sold and you're actively turning guests away, what that tells a revenue manager is that your rate was simply too low for the demand in the market. You practically gave away your absolute most valuable inventory, your peak demand rooms, at a price that didn't reflect what guests were actually willing to pay. Let's break down the math. Say you sell 100 rooms at 1,500 baht per night. You make 150,000 baht. You were completely maxed out at 100% capacity. Now consider a totally different approach. You sell 80 rooms, but at 2,000 baht a night. You just made 160,000 baht. Not only is that more cash in the bank, but think about those extra 20 rooms that stayed empty. They cost you absolutely nothing. No housekeeping hours, no washing fresh towels, no little soaps to replace, no wear and tear on your carpets. You are literally making more money while doing way less work. Which brings us to the fundamental, undeniable truth of the entire hotel industry. Your goal isn't to fill rooms. The goal is to maximize your revenue per available room. We call this RevPAR. It's super simple to calculate. You just divide your total room revenue by your total available rooms. RevPAR is basically the heartbeat of a profitable hotel. It perfectly balances your occupancy and your average daily rate to give you the real truth about your performance. If you are only looking at how full your hotel is and you aren't rigorously tracking RevPAR, you are flying completely blind. And hey, if you are tracking RevPAR, but you're doing it using the exact same static room rates you set months ago, well, we're going to talk about why that is a massive mistake in just a minute. Okay, moving on to our second hidden profit drain. And honestly, this one genuinely shocks a lot of hotel owners when they finally confront the math. If the vast majority of your bookings are coming through major online travel agencies, the OTAs like Booking.com, Agoda, or Expedia, you are paying between 15 and 25% standard commission on every single booking. Just think about that for a second. On a 2,000 baht room, that is 300 to 500 baht that instantly vaporizes from your business before you've even paid for a single operational cost. That's before paying your front desk staff, before keeping the lights on in the lobby. And the craziest part? That 15 to 25% is really just the headline number. It's definitely not the full cost of doing business with OTAs. Because here's where it gets super interesting. The way guests behave is drastically different depending on how they booked with you. OTA bookings cancel at roughly double the rate of your direct bookings. We're talking 21.8% for OTAs versus just 10.6% for direct bookings in 2025. What that means is, for every 10 OTA bookings you secure, 2 of them are just going to vanish. And they don't just disappear politely months in advance. They usually vanish at the absolute worst possible time. Right before the stay, when your booking window is completely closed and you have zero chance of reselling that room at your premium rate. You're just left holding empty inventory that you thought was safely locked in. When you start digging even deeper, the financial picture gets pretty intense. Think about OTA loyalty programs, things like Booking Genius or Agoda Points Max. These programs automatically offer guests lower rates, and a lot of times this happens without your day-to-day approval. Sure, the OTA might absorb a tiny part of the cost by dropping their commission slightly, but the reality is you are getting a lower net rate while the OTA secures the booking and builds customer loyalty to their platform, not your hotel. When you add the whole shebang together, the headline commission, the massive cancellation rate, the forced loyalty discounts, and the invisible cost of not actually owning your guest data for future marketing, the real effective cost of an OTA booking is nowhere near 15 to 25%. It is closer to an astonishing 30 to 35% of your room rate. Let's really ground that percentage in a real-world scenario to show you the true scale of this drain. Say you run an independent hotel generating 3 million baht per month in revenue. Effectively handing over 30 to 35% means anywhere from 900,000 to a million baht is just quietly leaking out of your business every single month. Now, let me be crystal clear here. I'm absolutely not suggesting you ditch OTAs. No way. They are incredibly powerful, necessary distribution channels that put your property in front of the whole world. But what this staggering number proves is that your channel mix is absolutely crucial. Most independent hotels right now have a booking mix that is just way too heavily tilted toward the OTA side to be truly sustainably profitable. All right, the third hidden reason your completely full hotel is losing money is probably the most frustrating, simply because it is 100% avoidable. I'm talking about the trap of static pricing. Static pricing is when you set your rates way back at the start of the year. You know, a high season rate, a low season rate, a weekend rate, and you just kind of leave them there. Imagine this. A massive music festival gets announced in your city. 4 weeks out, flights start booking up and demand for rooms goes through the roof. 3 weeks out, every single hotel in your competitive set sees this happening and jacks up their rates. Your direct competitor is suddenly selling the exact same room category for 3,200 baht. But what happens to you on event weekend? You sell out entirely at your static published rate of 1,800 baht because you never updated it. You just left 1,400 baht per room sitting right there on the table. If you multiply that missed opportunity across every local event, every long weekend, every school holiday, man, the lost revenue is just monumental. So what's the solution? You have to get out of the static pricing trap by using rates that adjust in real time. Rates that react instantly to what is actually happening in your specific market right now. Things like your booking pace, what your competitors are doing, local demand signals, and exactly how many rooms you have left to sell. The data on this is undeniable. Hotels that implement proper dynamic pricing consistently see revenue uplifts of 10 to 30%. Really think about that. You don't have to build a new wing of rooms. You don't have to renovate the lobby. It's the exact same rooms, the same guests, the same market demand. It's just smarter, much more responsive pricing. Now, let's see how this builds into our fourth hidden drain. And honestly, most hotel owners I speak with have never even heard of this one. It's called rate parity leakage. Here's how this sneaky little drain usually works. It starts when you sell your room inventory to a wholesaler at a deeply discounted bulk rate, fully intending for those rooms to be used in offline packaged tours. But then, some of those wholesalers quietly turn around and resell that cheap inventory to smaller, obscure OTAs. Next thing you know, those small OTAs take that cheap rate and list your rooms publicly on the internet at a price significantly below what you have published on your own website or on Booking.com. And then the hammer falls. Guests find that dirt cheap price online, your direct booking channel suddenly looks like a total ripoff, and even worse, the major OTA platforms detect this inconsistency and they actively penalize your search rankings. And the truly cruel part about rate leakage? It's practically invisible. As an owner, you usually don't even find out it's happening until a guest is physically standing right there at your reception desk, casually mentioning this insanely cheap rate they scored on some website you've literally never heard of. By the time that conversation happens at check-in, the damage is totally done. The bookings have already been made at the leaked rate, and your crucial search ranking on the major platforms has already taken a massive nosedive. Trying to monitor and manage this rate parity across the entire internet takes real-time tools. It takes daily, obsessive attention. Most independent hotels just don't have the systems to catch this, which means their revenue is leaking quietly and continuously every single day. So, as we've seen, a fully booked hotel can be a total illusion. Let's quickly recap what might really be going on behind the scenes. First, you might be hitting 100% occupancy just because your rooms were drastically underpriced during a high-demand period. Second, the sheer volume of those bookings might be coming through high-commission OTA channels, carrying an enormous 30 to 35% effective cost. Third, your static pricing model is out there actively missing major demand windows and compression events in your city. And finally, invisible rate leakage is completely undermining your pricing integrity across internet channels you can't even see. These are the 4 massive, hidden drains that are constantly siphoning profit away from independent hotels. But hey, I want you to hear this loud and clear. Not a single one of these problems is permanent. Every single one of these drains is entirely fixable if you have the right revenue strategy, proper channel management, and consistent daily attention to your market. Look, the big international hotel chains, they have entire departments doing this complex work for them every single day. Historically, independent and boutique hotels across Southeast Asia, places like Thailand and Laos, just haven't had access to that level of elite expertise. Well, until now. This is exactly where solutions like CRS Central come in. They work exclusively with independent properties to bring this 5-star, highly dynamic revenue management capability directly to you for a fraction of what it would cost to build an in-house team. And the best part? It starts with a completely free 20-minute revenue audit. No heavy sales pitch, no obligation. They literally just look at your pricing, your OTA performance, your channel mix, and tell you exactly where your revenue gap is. Listen, it is time to stop leaving your hard-earned money on the table. It's time to take control of your property's true earning potential. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today. To get started, I want you to really examine your own daily operations. Go look at your occupancy reports through the lens we just talked about. Which of these 4 profit drains is affecting your property the absolute most right now, and what are you going to do tomorrow to stop it?